The following is a special presentation of 11 Alive News and Untold Atlanta with Matt Pearl.
We've had everything from a crippling drought to multiple hurricanes. Atlanta and the state of Georgia continually push the envelope. That has always been our place in the Southeast region to innovate and lead the way.
I mean, we're looking at changing the world, really.
You can't just be pie in the sky stuff if it's going to work.
The first commandment was take care of my earth. You are the stewards of my earth.
Even though people may feel helpless, everything we do has an impact.
Local news rarely covers climate. We're all over the weather, but we don't talk about climate. It's too toxic, too politicized, too daunting, too depressing. It doesn't have to be. In our state, it's solutions in unexpected places. It's green business booming on brown soil. It's questions along the coast and in the city. This is Plan G, a special report where you'll hear from people with varying backgrounds, life experiences, even different views on climate change. But they're all part about how the climate is changing Georgia.
Farmer's an eternal optimist. he couldn't live if he wasn't. You know, it'll be better next year. It'll be better next year.
How many days you come up here?
Pretty much every one when I'm staying in the house. Good place for coffee in the morning and an adult beverage in the evening.
What do you see when you look at the highway?
Every time I'm on the interstate, I see opportunity now.
Anybody here know what I'm talking about?
When we come into the church, it is an experience of growth and therapy.
Good morning, St. Stephen.
Is the church a place where climate and the planet are typically discussed?
Not typically. Climate change, global warming. Do you believe it's real?
My name is Gerald Durley. I'm pastor emeritus of Providence Missionary Baptist Church.
And guess what? God didn't do this. We're doing it to ourselves with carbon dioxide in the air.
They call it retirement. I call it rewirement. What did I know about a polar bear? And what did I know about carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases? But as I began to see it and saw how it negatively, disproportionately impacted African Americans, those I was called to serve all my life, I said, somebody has to articulate this.
I'm Steve Singletary. I'm president of Singletary Farms.
What makes Blakely the peanut capital?
Georgia is the largest peanut producing state in the country. The southwest corner of Georgia is where the majority of the peanuts are grown.
Did you ever think solar would be taking up so much of that now?
No.
Kelly. I'm executive director of the Ray, and what we do is on an 18-mile section of Interstate 85, we're trying technologies that have real promise.
Is there anything else like the Ray in this country right now?
Right now there's not. We installed the first publicly accessible solar-powered EV charging station in the Southeast, the Wattway Solar Road. It's a 50 square meter section of solar pavement, a small plot of perennial wheat at exit 6. We're not a theme park where the rides and the experiences are already built. We are a living lab.
My name is Paul Wolf, and I served 5 terms on the Tybee Island City Council. I'm a pedal coast kind of guy.
When it comes to the climate, you seem to be very much not a pedal coast kind of guy.
well, there is a sense of urgency have higher high tides, we have more frequent flooding, we're on the front lines. When we did our climate change adaptation plan, we said, we're not going to debate the causes of climate change, whether or not human activity is exacerbating it. Rather, we are going to look at the effects that you can see every day. This is an experimental sand fence. We have 3 rows of sand fence in alternating configurations so we can capture sand from every direction.
And so it's a triple line of defense.
Exactly. I feel privileged to be here now. I'm enjoying it while I can. While it exists, I do feel blessed.
This is heart of Southwest Atlanta. Very few of these houses are air conditioned. They might have 1 unit. The unit might be somewhat old. Hey, Doc, how you doing?
How about yourself?
Oh man, it's another hot day. How you doing? How's this heat affecting you?
Hey, I'm gonna get out of it.
Climate change, and when we talk about it, it's how we position it where it lives in people's lives.
You try your best to try to get them to identify themselves.
We've often said, when America catches a cold, black folks get pneumonia. So we know that degree of difference that happens. When I first got into this, I would go to so many meetings impacting the minority communities. But I got tired of people talking about me rather than to and with me. I'm out there, but I don't want to be out there alone. This is the civil rights movement of 2019. We must be at the table in the planning process as to how and what can happen.
Don't bend up.
That's why I have to stay on the battlefield.
Understand climate change. That's what we're about. God bless.
She's working with their governor's office to get a group together to come down here.
Wow. That's cool. How about that? Ray Anderson was my father, and he was my hero. He realized he was a plunderer of the earth and all of our resources. So he set his company on a path to become restorative. And a lot of people thought Ray had lost his mind.
Ray Anderson was not a tree hugger. We're not out here using our philanthropy to do a bunch of warm and fuzzy work that doesn't make sense. Everything that we do on the Ray returns some value.
The first solar farm I remember going to was up in North Georgia, and it was about an acre. You know, and this is 1,400 acres. It started out as a dream. Man, we got all that energy coming from the sun, and we've known that for years and years and years and years. The technology and the panels have gotten to the point that it makes it a viable enterprise. If you just say climate change, no, that's never been very high on my radar. As far as I'm concerned, it was an economic opportunity. It being solar didn't have anything to do with making the decision to sell. That's the reason you see such a flourish of it. It's because they can afford to do it. They can make money doing it. Yes, they love to save the environment. They love what it does for the environment, but they really love the money they make. I've been harvesting the sun for 40-something years. Their end product is just different than what I've been doing all my life.
Now you come by when you get some of the vegetables out of here, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. We bought the ground, we took all of the stumps out, and now along here, the corn, the tomatoes, the cantaloupe, we would have never thought about an urban garden. And this is what it's all about. This is the impact of climate change and what climate change is making people to do. I remember when the wine bottles and everything was off.
Right.
You remember that?
Right, yeah. It was full of trash. It was almost like a dump.
Yeah. That something like this
in our community can exist that's tied into the church. It's encouraging me to know why I do what I do. Yeah.
He would go anywhere and talk to anyone, even if it was only one person. That's the bar for the Ray. We will go anywhere. Yeah, we're 18 miles, but I think we punch above our weight because we're Ray Anderson's 18 miles.
The causeway is a two-lane causeway that is impacted by sea level rise and high tide. It's the only access for people without a boat. And that's how you get to Tybee, period.
So when you're flooded?
When we're flooded, you don't get off the island or onto it.
What is the biggest danger to Tybee Island?
Sea level rise. In the low spots of the road, the high tide is just about even with the surface of the road. With 1 foot of sea level rise, which is likely within the next 30 to 40 years, the road's going to be underwater 100 times a year. That's twice a day, 50 days a year, every high tide.
It is not uncommon for us to have to arrange to have a helicopter out here because we're worried that the road's going to be tied up or whatever. But if there's a storm, those helicopters don't fly during a storm.
See a lot of the storm damage here, trees leaning and falling over and laying. That's one of the spots. See, this barn up here is damaged that we have not repaired yet. In my lifetime, I can only remember 2 or 3 times that we cut that type timber. But that's what the storm blew down.
We're well known in the community now. We're not trying to keep anything secret. We're literally giving it all away. It would be better if we had more of these types of efforts across the country. It would be better if we had a chorus instead of a solo.
Georgia DOT has had plans in the works for over 20 years to widen the road. In their last iteration, they will raise the low spots by as much as 8 inches. That's their concession to my request that they raise the road 3 feet along its entire length.
And what does 8 inches get you?
8 inches will get us 5 or 10 years in the low spots.
Tybee Island alone cannot solve the problem of sea levels rising on Tybee Island.
True, but we can set an example as to what people need to be doing worldwide.
Thank you, thank you.
I think they said about 2,000 people from all over, and they were coming to the 40th Climate Reality Workshop.
We're going to begin with an invocation.
My role was to really fire them up.
Good morning. I am excited. If you're excited, let's give a round of applause. Oh, you're not excited?
We cannot talk about the influence that I attempt to do in this community without including the larger community. That's George Bush, Billy Graham, myself. Oh, wow, here's another. They're on another political persuasion, and they're a different color persuasion. But if I'm to impact here, then I've got to be down there championing those rights.
We came to learn and leave to serve.
Have you been back here?
Not since we got all our irrigation equipment off, I have not been.
Feel a little strange being back?
Yeah, a little bit. Are these panels going to pivot with the sun?
Yes, sir. It's called a tracking system.
Telling something that you've had all your life. It's made your living all your life. My retirement was tied up in the land. You know, it wasn't in a 401k. sitting in New York on Wall Street, it was tied up in the land, and it was time to sell some land.
It's holding this as stainless steel, 1500 volt max.
This was just straight farming, whatever crops we decided to grow at that time.
Well, now we're farming UV rays, which is great.
The DOT wins by saving that money. Today on The Ray, we're hosting the lead asset manager for the state of Victoria in the country of Australia. He traveled halfway around the world to ride the Ray. This land is unused and it's perfect for solar. Look at it, it's a tabletop. Georgia will be the third state to try to use the interstate roadsides for purposes of generating clean, renewable energy. That should be happening all over the country right now, and we can help to scale those from the Ray. We travel all the time because it's the right work to do at the right time in transportation. We have the sketches that we can show you.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
And we know that transportation is the leading contributor to airborne carbon dioxide. This is our opportunity to innovate.
It's good to see this happening on the ground. Yeah, it brings up hope.
Oh, Franny, catch me up. I haven't seen you in a year.
Well, a little over a month ago, once again, we had a high tide and it came into our yards. The residents on our street who grew up here, they say that it just wasn't like this when they grew up. War zone, trees everywhere. I could not even get down my street. There hadn't been a hurricane on Tybee for what?
117 years.
117 years. Knowing that, we've had 3 floods, 2 hurricanes, and it's something that is with you. It changes things. It really does. And I love my property. I love my birds, but yet we probably have 2 more hurricane seasons to go through. And some people have left. They just don't want to go through it anymore, and because it's not a matter of when.
Yeah.
It's not a matter if, it's when.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a reality, and do you stay? Do you go?
Tybee is such a rare place that it's not just the fact that we have a beautiful beach and environmental assets, because it is a very rare community, and it's not the kind of place that you would find anywhere else, with or without a beach.
All my life, the thing that motivated me, if you learn something and you care about it, and you know that it is negatively impacting those that you care about, then you have a moral responsibility and an obligation to say, look out for this.
Thank you, God bless you. Hold tight.
I care very much about the environment and what goes on. It's a clean, really clean, good industry. They're getting closer and closer and closer every day. So yes, the dreamers need to keep dreaming.
I say I have the best job in the world because I mean it. This is a labor of love. You have one life. How are you going to spend it? I want to make a difference.